So your major assignment this week, after you've looked at these videos and thought about birds and bees, is to choose your strongest essay, 4, 5, or 6, and to rewrite it in several different ways. You may do 4, 5, and 6 at some point during the rest of the semester, but right now, I want you to really focus on whichever 3 of those essays matters to you most. Which are you most satisfied? Which idea have you defined? Which of these is the most important idea? Is it destiny? Is it generosity? Is it play? Is it pain? Is it courage? There's lots of ideas that you guys have come, or maybe it's number 6, about choosing, or about welcome, or any of these abstract ideas. When you think about the 3 essays, think about the idea that matters to you most, because you can improve and extend the story in all kinds of ways to best support that. So, your first job is to pick which essay matters the most to you. Shouldn't we write about stuff that matters? We shouldn't start, it's like what we pay attention to grows. So if we pay attention to strong ideas, they will grow richer. As opposed to thinking about rewriting as something that's about correcting mistakes or correcting errors. That's just a really spirit-damning way of going back and using this really important, hard energy of writing work. So you pick one of those essays, and we are going to rewrite it in many different ways. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to do that first and last paragraph test. So the first thing you might do is rewrite your beginning and ending. And when I say first and last paragraph test, take your essay and read out loud the first paragraph. Welcome comes in many different forms. Welcome Matt, sometimes it happens at the beginning of things. Speakers welcome, families welcome, new members welcome, 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 welcome. And then whatever story you said about welcome, and then you're going to read the first paragraph, skip over the story, and look at your last paragraph. Welcome, welcome. Can you hear how the final paragraph answers and completes the first? Can you hear how it says, here's the lesson that we've learned about welcome. Here's the surprise. Here's the dimension of welcome that this story has discovered as it has been told. So your first job with a rewrite, where we started the essays from the middle with the story and worked out, when we rewrite, we're going to switch the direction. We're going to start our rewrites on the outside with that beginning and ending and make them as strong, as clear as we can. So that's sort of rewriting at the level of the paragraph and rewriting the paragraphs that are the beginning and ending of the essay. Okay, the next step is to continue rewriting at the level of the paragraph, but now we're going to look at the middle paragraphs. And middles are all about concrete specifics and description, characters, speech, dialogue, events, atmosphere, weather, attitude. So now that you know what you're going to say about welcome, can you go back into those 3, 4, or 5 paragraphs in the middle of your essay? Can you expand and elaborate the story? Are there parts of the story that you can now add to make the learning about welcome more, if this is your word, right? You could be doing any of these essays. So can you say more in the middle in the story to help us understand it better now that we know why we're telling it? Are there details that you can add? Can you think about the sensory specifics we've talked about? What you can see and taste and hear and touch and smell and feel in your gut? Are there sensory specific details that can elaborate and intensify and enrich the story that you dashed out the very first time that you wrote it down? So, first step is to rewrite the beginning and ending at the layer of the paragraph. Second step is to go back and look at your middle and rewrite. And again, we're trying to grow this essay. We're trying to grow these essays into 2, 3, 4-page essays instead of 1-page essays, because these ideas matter and they deserve the space, the generosity of fuller expression. As you're rewriting, the next step is to rewrite at the level of the sentence. Once you have rewritten those middles and paragraphs, now we get to think about sentence shape. Go sentence by sentence by sentence by sentence. Can you see the shape of every sentence? If it's too long and you can't see its shape, or you're not sure of its shape, don't worry, just rewrite it. Rewrite looking for strong verbs. Rewrite to eradicate is, was, were, and are. Rewrite to vary. Assertion A, do a coordinate, do a subordinate. We love it when sentence shapes can be varied, that we're not just using the same sentence shape every time. So you're going to rewrite at the level of the sentence, verifying for yourself that you can see this shape. And listen, I am your coach during this process. Any sentence that trips you up, you just send Captain Kirk a little email. Captain Kirk, help me rewrite this one. And I will write 2 or 3 different versions of the sentence. Or try a rewrite. I don't like this sentence. I can't see its shape. Here's my first try. Can you give me a couple tries too? I am your writing coach, sentence coach, and I will rewrite with you any sentence that you need to help you come up with stronger verbs and see how it can do. That's a great thing. I just love doing it. It's like, oh boy. So hopefully all of you will send me a tricky sentence that we can rewrite together to see some of the possibilities. Using different words, reordering the words, changing the words. I love rewriting. After I know the idea, I find the rewriting process, especially the sentence, to be terrifically satisfying. Because I've done the work, I sort of know what I want to say at that point, and I can really play with the sound and the sequence of the words as they trip and tremble and trundle across the page. Rewrite first and last. Rewrite middle paragraphs. Rewrite with an awareness of sentence shape. And then the last thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that the essay is typed and that it's typed in the MLA format. And some people open up a new document. I think it's, by the way, when I rewrite, I always rewrite on a whole new document. I never just fix stuff in the current document. I print out, if you can. I think it's really helpful to print it out or look at it on your phone while you're working on the computer, so you have 2 different screens, and that you rewrite by typing in your essay again. Because as you do that, every sentence, it slows you down, lets you examine sentence by sentence. You can see the flow of ideas, so you can find places to add more, or stuff that's kind of off point you can let go of. So when you copy it over again, when you write it out or type it out again, you really invite your whole brain to be working for you, as opposed to fixing stuff. And we get much richer rewrites, much more generous, much more expansive. And sometimes as you're rewriting, your essays grow in whole new, ideally not whole new directions, but sometimes much deeper directions. You suddenly understand some dimensions of your thought that you didn't have in that first pass. We needed those first passes. They're important. They're just not finished. They're schematic. They're superficial. And rewritings let us add depth of layer, depth of time, depth of attention to thinking about the importance of why we're telling a specific story and what it's teaching us about an idea that's worth understanding. I mentioned, I don't know whose story it is, but the casino birthday party, this elaborate birthday party. Some of you have read it. It's such a nice tale about family culture. A great party, and it sounded like so much fun. It was so elaborate. So much money was spent, but I love the fact it talks about how much a family acknowledges other people's work or their effort, and it's such a beautiful thing to acknowledge, to feel. I mean, it must have felt so good for that birthday girl to feel prized, to feel honored, and that happens for a family to honor its members. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful. It sort of helped me understand why parties are so important. They're a celebration of existence, but also of all the unsung work day in and day out that we just don't. I'm going on about this because I think it's a really important idea. It's not trivial. It's not. It's not. I kind of know it, but I know it so much better when this writer in this essay points it out to me. Or this wonderful day, the day on the pond. I think that was John's maybe. The pleasure of a family at play, the joy. It's kind of a simple and kind of a humble joy, but it's joy. It's so much better than "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," but splashing on the rubber thing behind the boat. That's what real happiness is, and it made me think even harder about how hard it is now in COVID when we're separated, we can't be with our families. So why do this work? Well, this work is worth it because, man, the stuff that you guys are bringing, you guys are bringing game to this class. Two people who found themselves from Puerto Rico, why destiny, that feel destined, a loving couple that feel destined, as if the gods put them together despite it all. How powerful a sense of love and coupledom that must be, that you are destined to be together, that the universe confirms and vibrates with the rightness that she's the one, that he's the one. That's heavy stuff. You guys are bringing heavy stuff into these essays, and that's to your credit. It's to my delight, but it's to your credit that writing is hard. Writing is intellectual work. It's physical focus, and I think it's emotional, spiritual work, and that's why it's worthwhile. And it clarifies our sense of who we are. It clarifies what matters. And so I want you to enjoy this week. This is a week where you kind of get to celebrate the coolness of the discoveries of some of these essays. Choose the one that matters to you now and give it what it is due. Time to flesh out and elaborate those details. Time to really let the beginning and ending echo and respond to each other. Time to slow down and give yourself attention, sentence by sentence by sentence. And also just the pleasure of dressing up a beautiful manuscript. It feels good for me to put on a tie and a coat today. I've been in my underwear and pajamas for so many days. And it also feels good to dress your manuscript in that adult, professional way, saying, okay, world, here's something that I am gifting to you, worth you taking seriously. So rewriting this week, 1, 2, 3, 4, beginnings and endings, middle paragraphs, sentence shape, and MLA graphics. What a lovely week you will have, and I'm so curious. Again, focus only on one essay this week. We'll have time later. If you want to do those others, you'll also be able to do those. But we're really getting a chance to take one of those essays and make it portfolio ready. And remember, if you get stuck with any of those sentences, I'm standing by and I'll look for your emails. Have a great week, guys. I'm thinking of you, and thanks so much again for sending me those pictures. It's giving me such happiness to be sitting and looking at you while we're working together at this really lovely, deep moment of real work this semester. Keep it up.